the depths of ancient religious texts lies a manuscript so profound and controversial that it was deliberately excluded from the traditional biblical canon. The Book of Enoch, discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls between 1947 and 1956, stands as the oldest known apocalyptic writing in history, predating the Book of Revelation by nearly 4 centuries. The story begins with Enoch, a figure briefly mentioned in Genesis as the 7th patriarch from Adam and the great-grandfather of Noah. According to biblical accounts, Enoch lived for 365 years before God took him away, a mysterious phrase that has intrigued scholars and theologians for millennia. This extraordinary claim marks him as one of only 2 figures in biblical history who never experienced death, setting the stage for the remarkable revelations contained within his writings. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church holds a unique position in Christian history as the only denomination to have preserved the complete Book of Enoch in its ancient Ethiopian language. This preservation occurred while other religious communities gradually distanced themselves from the text, raising questions about why such an important document faced exclusion from mainstream religious tradition. The significance of Enoch's writings extends beyond mere religious doctrine. His detailed accounts of celestial observations and astronomical calculations demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of the heavens that seems remarkable for its time. The text's influence can be traced through various religious and cultural traditions, appearing in fragments and references across multiple ancient civilizations. Recent archaeological discoveries have shed new light on the historical context of Enoch's writings. Fragments found in various languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, suggest a widespread circulation of these texts throughout the ancient world, challenging our understanding of early religious development and cultural exchange. The discovery of the Book of Enoch among the Dead Sea Scrolls marked a pivotal moment in religious scholarship. In 1947, Bedouin shepherds stumbled upon the first scrolls in the Qumran caves near the Dead Sea, initiating what would become one of the most significant archaeological finds in religious history. The harsh desert conditions had preserved these ancient texts for over 2 millennia, offering unprecedented insight into early religious thought and practice. The manuscripts revealed a complex narrative that had largely been lost to time. Written primarily in Aramaic, with portions in ancient Hebrew and Greek, the Book of Enoch presented detailed accounts of divine encounters and celestial observations that went far beyond the brief mention of Enoch in canonical texts. The discovery challenged long-held assumptions about early Jewish and Christian literature, suggesting a more diverse and complex religious landscape than previously understood. The significance of this discovery extended beyond religious circles. Scholars found that the Book of Enoch contained sophisticated astronomical calculations and calendar systems, demonstrating advanced understanding of celestial movements in ancient times. The text's detailed descriptions of astronomical phenomena provided valuable insights into how ancient civilizations perceived and documented the natural world. Within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, where the complete version had been preserved, the Book of Enoch held a position of profound reverence. The Church's preservation of this text through centuries of turbulent history represents a remarkable feat of cultural conservation. Their manuscripts, written in Ge'ez, ancient Ethiopian, provided crucial comparative material for scholars studying the Qumran fragments. The discovery also illuminated connections between various ancient cultures. References to the Book of Enoch appeared in writings from multiple civilizations, suggesting extensive cultural exchange and shared religious concepts across the ancient world. This interconnectedness challenged previous assumptions about the isolation of ancient communities and their belief systems. The Book of Enoch contains 5 distinct sections, each offering unique insights into ancient religious thought and cosmological understanding. The first section, known as the Book of Watchers, presents perhaps the most compelling narrative. It details Enoch's journey through the heavens and his role as a divine messenger, describing elaborate visions of celestial realms and supernatural beings. One of the text's most significant elements is its detailed account of fallen angels. According to the narrative, these beings, led by Semyaza, descended to earth and took human wives, leading to consequences that would reshape human history. This account provides crucial context for understanding ancient perspectives on divine intervention and human responsibility. The astronomical sections of the text demonstrate remarkable sophistication. The descriptions of celestial movements, seasonal changes, and astronomical calculations reveal a deep understanding of natural phenomena that was unusual for its time. These observations align with known astronomical records from other ancient civilizations, suggesting a shared body of knowledge that transcended cultural boundaries. The ethical teachings within the Book of Enoch remain particularly relevant to modern discourse. Its exploration of justice, righteousness, and divine judgment reflects enduring human concerns about moral behavior and accountability. The text's emphasis on environmental stewardship and responsible governance resonates with contemporary discussions about leadership and ecological responsibility. The apocalyptic visions described in the latter portions of the text have influenced religious thought for millennia. These prophecies, while specific to their historical context, demonstrate how ancient societies grappled with questions of ultimate destiny and divine purpose. Their impact can be traced through various religious traditions and philosophical discussions that continue to shape modern theological debate. The Book of Enoch's influence extends into contemporary religious scholarship and cultural discourse. Modern research has revealed remarkable parallels between its ethical teachings and current societal challenges. Religious scholars continue to analyze its impact on early Christian and Jewish thought, particularly its influence on the development of apocalyptic literature. The text's preservation methods have attracted significant attention from conservation experts. The survival of ancient manuscripts through various preservation techniques provides valuable insights for modern document conservation. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church's methods of manuscript preservation, in particular, offer important lessons for protecting historical documents in challenging environmental conditions. Archaeological findings continue to validate various historical references within the text. Recent excavations in the Middle East have uncovered artifacts and inscriptions that correspond to locations and events mentioned in the Book of Enoch. These discoveries help establish the historical context in which the text was written and transmitted across different cultures. The Book of Enoch's detailed astronomical observations have drawn interest from historians of science. Its descriptions of celestial movements and seasonal changes demonstrate sophisticated observational practices in ancient times. The accuracy of these observations, verified against historical astronomical records, provides insight into the development of early scientific thought. The text's ethical framework remains particularly relevant to modern leadership discussions. Its teachings on responsibility, justice, and governance continue to resonate in contemporary debates about moral leadership and social responsibility. Religious institutions and ethical philosophers frequently reference these ancient principles when addressing modern moral challenges. Located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Babylon emerged as one of history's most influential civilizations. The city's origins trace back to approximately 2300 BC, where archaeological evidence reveals humble beginnings as a small Akkadian settlement. This strategic location in the heart of Mesopotamia would prove crucial to its eventual dominance of the ancient world. The first documented mention of Babylon appears on a clay tablet dating to the reign of Sargon of Akkad, circa 2334 to 2279 BC. During this period, the settlement steadily grew in importance as a regional trading center. The fertile soil of the region, combined with sophisticated irrigation systems, provided the agricultural foundation that would support the city's expanding population. The true transformation of Babylon began under King Hammurabi, 1792 to 1750 BC, the sixth ruler of the First Babylonian dynasty. Hammurabi's reign marked a turning point in Babylonian history, as he implemented a series of reforms that would define the empire's character for centuries to come. His most enduring achievement was the creation of the Code of Hammurabi, a comprehensive legal system that standardized justice throughout the empire. Under Hammurabi's leadership, Babylon expanded through both military conquest and diplomatic alliances. The city's population grew dramatically, reaching an estimated 60,000 inhabitants. This period saw the construction of magnificent temples, palaces, and public buildings, establishing Babylon's reputation for architectural grandeur. The administrative systems established during this period demonstrated remarkable sophistication. Hammurabi's government maintained detailed records of commerce, legal proceedings, and religious observations, creating a bureaucratic framework that would influence civilizations for millennia to come. The standardization of weights, measures, and currency facilitated trade throughout the empire, establishing Babylon as a central hub of ancient commerce. Babylon's golden age reached its zenith during the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, 605 to 562 BC, transforming the city into the largest and most magnificent metropolis of the ancient world. Under his leadership, Babylon's population surged to over 200,000 inhabitants, making it a true cosmopolitan center where diverse cultures, languages, and traditions converged. The architectural achievements of this period remain legendary. The Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, exemplified Babylonian engineering prowess. Archaeological evidence suggests an intricate irrigation system that lifted water to sustain lush vegetation on multiple terraced levels. The famous Ishtar Gate, with its brilliant blue glazed bricks and relief sculptures, demonstrated the sophisticated artistry of Babylonian craftsmen. Babylonian scholarship flourished during this period, particularly in mathematics and astronomy. The royal library preserved thousands of clay tablets containing mathematical calculations, astronomical observations, and medical treatises. Their sexagesimal number system, based on the number 60, influenced time measurement that we still use today. Babylonian astronomers maintained detailed records of celestial movements, developing methods to predict astronomical events with remarkable accuracy. The city's commercial systems demonstrated equal sophistication. Babylon established standardized systems of weights and measures, facilitating trade across vast distances. Markets thrived under a complex legal framework that protected merchants and consumers alike. The city's banking systems included concepts such as loans, interest, and contracts, documented on clay tablets that survive to this day. Religious life centered around the magnificent Temple of Marduk, rising nearly 100 meters high. Religious festivals, particularly the New Year celebration, brought the entire city together in elaborate ceremonies that reinforced social bonds and cultural identity. These traditions influenced religious practices throughout the ancient Near East and beyond. The decline of Babylon began during the reign of Nabonidus, 556 to 539 BC, the last king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. His prolonged absences from the city and controversial religious reforms created internal instability that weakened the empire's foundations. The mounting tensions between the royal court and the powerful priesthood of Marduk further undermined the social cohesion that had sustained Babylon's greatness. As Babylon struggled with internal challenges, a new power emerged in the east. Under Cyrus the Great, the Persian Empire expanded rapidly, demonstrating military prowess and administrative efficiency that would soon challenge Babylonian dominance. The Persian conquest of Babylon in 539 BC marked a watershed moment in ancient history. According to historical accounts, Cyrus's forces entered the city without significant resistance, suggesting the degree to which Babylon's internal strength had eroded. The Persian period brought significant changes to Babylon's character. While the city retained its importance as a cultural and economic center, its political autonomy diminished. The Persians adopted a policy of religious tolerance, allowing local customs and traditions to continue. However, the shift of political power to Persian capitals gradually reduced Babylon's influence as the region's primary metropolis. Alexander the Great's conquest of Babylon in 331 BC initially promised a renaissance for the ancient city. Alexander respected Babylonian culture and planned to make the city his eastern capital. His untimely death in 323 BC, however, ended these ambitions. The subsequent wars between his successors brought further instability to the region. By the 1st century AD, Babylon had largely declined into a minor provincial town, though its cultural influence persisted through preserved texts and traditions. Babylon's legacy endured long after its political decline. its legal codes influenced the development of law throughout the ancient world. Babylonian astronomical and mathematical knowledge was preserved and transmitted through various cultures, contributing to the foundations of modern scientific thought. The city's architectural and engineering achievements continued to inspire builders and artists for generations. Archaeological excavations of Babylon began in earnest during the late 19th century, led by German archaeologist Robert Koldewey. His systematic approach to excavation revealed the extraordinary scale and sophistication of ancient Babylon. The discovery of the Ishtar Gates remains provided tangible evidence of Babylon's architectural magnificence, with its glazed blue bricks and intricate animal reliefs now preserved in various museums worldwide. Recent archaeological work has enhanced our understanding of daily life in ancient Babylon. Excavations have uncovered residential areas, revealing detailed information about urban planning and social organization. The discovery of thousands of clay tablets in private homes has provided insights into everyday activities, from business transactions to personal correspondence. These findings demonstrate the sophisticated nature of Babylonian urban society. The preservation and restoration of Babylonian sites present significant challenges in modern Iraq. International efforts to protect these archaeological treasures have intensified, particularly following periods of regional conflict. Contemporary conservation techniques are being employed to preserve remaining structures, while digital documentation helps record and study architectural details that might otherwise be lost to time. Babylon's influence resonates in modern Middle Eastern culture and beyond. Its architectural principles continue to inspire contemporary design, while its administrative systems show remarkable parallels with modern urban planning. The site remains a powerful symbol of cultural heritage, drawing researchers and visitors from around the world who seek to understand this pivotal civilization. The discoveries at Babylon have revolutionized our understanding of ancient urban development. Archaeological evidence reveals sophisticated systems of water management, waste disposal, and public architecture that demonstrate remarkable parallels with modern city planning challenges. These findings continue to provide valuable insights for contemporary urban development and environmental management. The selection of the 12 apostles marks a pivotal moment in Christian history, occurring during the early ministry of Jesus Christ in the 1st century AD. According to the Gospel accounts, Jesus chose these men from among his broader group of followers after spending a night in prayer, establishing them as his closest disciples and witnesses to his ministry. The historical context of this selection reflects the cultural and religious environment of 1st century Judea. The number 12 carried profound significance, deliberately corresponding to the 12 tribes of Israel. This symbolic connection established a link between the emerging Christian movement and the historical foundations of Judaism, suggesting a continuation and fulfillment of ancient promises. The backgrounds of the chosen apostles demonstrate remarkable diversity for their time. Simon Peter and Andrew were fishermen from Bethsaida, while Matthew served as a tax collector for the Roman authorities. James and John, sons of Zebedee, came from a relatively prosperous fishing family. This variety of social and economic backgrounds suggests an intentional gathering of men from different sectors of society. Historical documents, particularly the Gospel accounts and the Acts of the Apostles, provide detailed information about the initial calling and early activities of these men. Their selection process appears to have emphasized personal character and dedication rather than social status or religious education. This approach marked a significant departure from traditional religious leadership selection in ancient Judaism. The transformation of these ordinary men into religious leaders represents one of the most documented examples of leadership development in ancient literature. Contemporary records describe their initial struggles, gradual understanding, and eventual emergence as confident leaders of the early Christian movement. Their experiences during Jesus' ministry provided essential preparation for their future roles in establishing and guiding the early Christian church. Simon Peter emerges as the most prominently documented of the apostles. Originally a fisherman from Bethsaida, Peter's journey from impulsive follower to church leader is extensively recorded in biblical texts. Historical accounts describe his ministry in Jerusalem, Antioch, and ultimately Rome, where ancient sources indicate he faced martyrdom during Nero's persecution of Christians around 64 to 67 AD. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, earned the designation sons of thunder for their fervent temperament. Historical records indicate James became the first apostolic martyr, executed by King Herod Agrippa I around 44 AD. John, traditionally identified as the beloved disciple, reportedly lived the longest among the apostles, establishing significant Christian communities in Asia Minor, particularly around Ephesus. Andrew, Peter's brother, is recorded as having ministered extensively in regions around the Black Sea. Ancient texts describe his missionary work among the Scythians and in Greece. Traditional accounts detail his martyrdom in Patras, Greece, where he reportedly faced crucifixion on an X-shaped cross, later known as St. Andrew's Cross. Philip, from Bethsaida, appears in several significant gospel narratives. Historical documents suggest his later ministry focused in Phrygia, in modern-day Turkey. Matthew, the former tax collector, is credited with compiling early accounts of Jesus' teachings. Ancient sources describe his ministry extending to regions beyond Roman influence, possibly including Ethiopia. Bartholomew, often identified with Nathanael in John's Gospel, reportedly carried the Christian message to India, where ancient Christian communities claimed connection to his ministry. Thomas, famous for his initial doubts about the resurrection, is documented in early sources as traveling to India, where ancient Christian communities in Kerala trace their origins to his mission. James, son of Alphaeus, maintained a significant presence in Jerusalem's early Christian community. Simon the Zealot, according to early church historians, preached in various regions including Egypt and Persia. Thaddeus, Judas, son of James, is recorded as ministering in the regions of Syria and Mesopotamia. The tragic figure of Judas Iscariot, whose betrayal is documented in all gospel accounts, was replaced by Matthias, as recorded in the Acts of the Apostles. This selection process maintained the symbolic number of 12 apostles, significant for the early church's identity and mission. The martyrdom of the apostles represents a critical chapter in early Christian history, documented through various historical sources and traditional accounts. These accounts demonstrate the profound commitment these individuals maintained to their religious convictions, often at the ultimate cost. Historical records indicate that most of the apostles met violent ends during the widespread persecution of early Christians. Peter's martyrdom in Rome, traditionally dated around 64 to 67 AD during Nero's reign, is among the most well-documented. Ancient sources describe his request to be crucified upside down, considering himself unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus. Archaeological evidence from Rome, including ancient graffiti and burial sites, supports the historical tradition of his presence and death in the city. James, the first apostolic martyr, was executed by sword under King Herod Agrippa I, as recorded in the Acts of the Apostles. This event, dated approximately 44 AD, marked the beginning of intensified persecution against church leadership. Historical documents suggest that his death significantly impacted the Jerusalem Christian community, demonstrating the increasing tensions between religious authorities and the emerging Christian movement. The apostles' legacy extends far beyond their martyrdom. Their teachings, preserved through both written documents and oral traditions, formed the foundation of Christian doctrine and practice. The communities they established became centers of Christian learning and mission, many surviving to the present day. Their methods of organization and leadership continue to influence religious institutional structures. The geographical spread of their missions created a network of Christian communities stretching from Rome to India. Archaeological evidence, including ancient church buildings, inscriptions, and religious artifacts, confirms the extensive reach of their influence. Their work established patterns of cross-cultural religious transmission that would shape the development of Christianity as a global religion. Modern archaeological discoveries continue to illuminate our understanding of the apostolic era. Excavations in Jerusalem have uncovered significant evidence of first-century Christian presence, including ritual spaces and inscriptions that correspond to historical accounts of the early church. The archaeological findings from the Pool of Bethesda, and areas around the Temple Mount provide tangible connections to locations mentioned in apostolic narratives. Recent research into ancient manuscripts has enhanced our knowledge of apostolic activities. The discovery and analysis of early Christian texts, including fragments of letters and historical accounts, offer valuable insights into the apostles' methods of establishing and maintaining Christian communities. These documents reveal sophisticated organizational structures and communication networks that facilitated the spread of Christianity throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. Archaeological work in Rome has been particularly significant. Excavations beneath St. Peter's Basilica have revealed a complex of tombs, including evidence supporting traditional accounts of Peter's burial location. Scientific analysis of these sites, combined with historical documentation, provides a more complete picture of the apostolic presence in the imperial capital. The examination of early Christian burial sites across the Mediterranean region has yielded important information about the communities established by the apostles. These locations often contain inscriptions and artistic representations that reflect early Christian beliefs and practices, demonstrating the lasting impact of apostolic teaching on religious expression. Traditional sites associated with apostolic ministry continue to yield new historical insights through systematic archaeological investigation. This ongoing research helps establish connections between documented historical events and physical evidence, enhancing our understanding of the apostolic era's historical context. The Turin Shroud represents one of history's most intriguing and extensively studied religious artifacts. First documented in medieval France during the 1350s, this linen cloth bears the faint image of a man bearing wounds consistent with crucifixion. Its emergence in Liry, France, marked the beginning of a documented history that would span centuries and continents. The cloth's journey through history reflects the complex intersection of faith, politics, and preservation. After surviving a fire in 1532 at Chambéry, the shroud was transferred to Turin in 1578, where it remains today in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist. The Savoy dynasty, who became its custodians, treated the artifact with exceptional care, recognizing its profound religious and historical significance. Documentary evidence of the shroud's history becomes increasingly detailed from the 16th century onward. Historical records describe numerous public exhibitions, each drawing thousands of pilgrims. These events were carefully documented, providing valuable insights into medieval and Renaissance religious practices. The reactions of contemporary observers, recorded in letters and official documents, offer fascinating perspectives on how the shroud was perceived throughout different historical periods. The first photographic study of the shroud in 1898 marked a turning point in its investigation. Secondo Pia's photographs revealed that the image on the cloth appeared more detailed in negative form, prompting increased scientific interest. This discovery launched a new era of research, combining traditional historical investigation with modern analytical methods. The preservation techniques employed throughout the shroud's history demonstrate remarkable foresight. Medieval and Renaissance custodians developed sophisticated methods for protecting the cloth from environmental damage, many of which continue to inform modern conservation practices. Their careful documentation of these preservation efforts provides valuable insights into historical conservation methods. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947 stands as one of the most significant archaeological finds in religious history. What began with a chance discovery by Bedouin shepherds in the Qumran caves near the Dead Sea developed into a systematic excavation that would transform our understanding of ancient religious texts and practices. The initial discovery occurred when Muhammad Ahmed el-Hamed, a young Bedouin shepherd, found several clay jars containing ancient scrolls in Cave 1 at Qumran. This discovery prompted further exploration of the region, ultimately leading to the identification of 11 caves containing approximately 981 different texts. The recovery and preservation of these documents spanned nearly a decade, from 1947 to 1956, involving international teams of scholars and archaeologists. The scrolls' significance extends beyond their religious content. Written primarily on parchment and papyrus, they provide invaluable insights into ancient writing methods, preservation techniques, and scribal practices. The manuscripts, dating from approximately 250 BCE to 68 CE, represent a crucial period in the development of Judaism and early Christianity. They include the oldest known biblical manuscripts, along with numerous non-biblical texts that illuminate the diverse religious thought of the period. The preservation state of the scrolls offers remarkable testimony to ancient archival methods. The dry climate of the Judean desert, combined with the careful storage methods employed by the scroll writers, enabled these documents to survive for over 2 millennia. The techniques used to store and protect these texts continue to inform modern document preservation practices. The international effort to preserve and study the scrolls demonstrates the importance of collaborative scholarly work. Teams from multiple countries contributed to the painstaking process of unrolling, photographing, and translating these ancient documents. Their work established new standards for the handling and documentation of ancient manuscripts. Contemporary research on ancient religious artifacts employs a comprehensive range of analytical methods, combining traditional archaeological approaches with advanced documentation techniques. These methods have revolutionized our understanding of ancient texts and artifacts, providing deeper insights into their origins, composition, and historical context. The examination of ancient manuscripts has benefited significantly from advances in imaging technology. High-resolution photography and digital scanning create detailed records of these documents, enabling scholars to study features invisible to the naked eye. These techniques have proved particularly valuable in analyzing faded or damaged texts, revealing previously unreadable passages, and identifying different scribal hands. Carbon dating and material analysis have enhanced our ability to establish precise chronologies for ancient artifacts. These methods have helped resolve long-standing questions about the age and authenticity of various religious texts and artifacts. The analysis of writing materials, inks, and preservation methods has provided valuable insights into ancient manufacturing and scribal practices. Conservation efforts have evolved to address the unique challenges presented by ancient artifacts. Environmental controls, specialized storage facilities, and careful handling protocols protect these irreplaceable items for future study. The development of non-invasive examination techniques allows researchers to gather information while minimizing potential damage to delicate materials. The documentation and preservation of archaeological contexts have become increasingly sophisticated. Detailed recording of excavation sites, including the precise location and condition of artifacts, provides essential information about their historical setting. This contextual information helps researchers understand how these items were used and valued in their original settings. The biblical narrative of Noah's flood appears in Genesis chapters 6 to 9, representing one of the most detailed and significant accounts in ancient religious literature. According to the text, God observed widespread corruption and violence among humanity, leading to the decision to cleanse the earth through a great flood. Noah, described as a righteous man, received divine instructions to construct an ark for the preservation of his family and representatives of all animal species. The biblical text provides specific architectural details about the ark's construction. Built from gopher wood, the vessel was designed according to precise divine specifications. The account describes a 3-decked structure coated with pitch, featuring a single window and door. These architectural details demonstrate remarkable similarities to ancient shipbuilding techniques documented in Mesopotamian sources. The chronology of events within the flood narrative follows a careful structure. The text specifies that rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights, while floodwaters prevailed upon the earth for 150 days. The detailed chronology includes specific dates for key events, including the beginning of the flood, the ark's landing, and the eventual emergence onto dry land. This precise dating system reflects the importance of calendrical records in ancient Near Eastern literature. The account emphasizes the comprehensive nature of the deluge, describing it as covering all high mountains under heaven. Following the flood's recession, the narrative describes the establishment of a divine covenant, marked by the rainbow as a sign of God's promise never again to destroy the earth by flood. This covenant narrative introduces important theological concepts that influenced subsequent religious thought. The conclusion of the flood account describes the repopulation of the earth through Noah's descendants, providing a framework for understanding ancient perspectives on human diversity and migration. This genealogical information played a significant role in how ancient peoples understood their relationships to one another. The presence of flood narratives across diverse ancient cultures provides a fascinating window into shared human experiences and storytelling traditions. The Mesopotamian Epic of Gilgamesh, dating from approximately 2100 BCE, contains one of the most well-documented flood accounts outside the biblical tradition. In this narrative, Utnapishtim receives divine warning of an impending flood and instructions to build a vessel for preservation. Bearing striking similarities to the biblical account while maintaining distinct cultural elements. Ancient Sumerian texts present the story of Ziusudra, a king who survives a great flood through divine intervention. This account, preserved in tablets from approximately 1750 BCE, demonstrates the deep roots of flood narratives in Mesopotamian culture. The detailed descriptions of boat construction and survival methods reflect the maritime knowledge of ancient civilizations in the region. Greek mythology preserves the account of Deucalion and Pyrrha, who survive a great flood sent by Zeus to punish human wickedness. This Hellenic version incorporates distinctive elements of Greek religious thought while maintaining common themes of divine judgment and human preservation. The narrative's integration into Greek cultural tradition demonstrates how flood stories adapted to different cultural contexts. Ancient Indian texts contain accounts of Manu, who receives warning of a great flood from a fish and builds a boat for preservation. This narrative, found in the Shatapatha Brahmana, reflects distinct Indian religious and cultural elements while sharing common themes with other flood traditions. The story's preservation in Sanskrit literature demonstrates its significance in Indian religious thought. Chinese historical traditions include accounts of a great flood during the reign of Emperor Yao. While differing in specific details from Near Eastern flood narratives, these accounts similarly emphasize themes of human resilience and divine intervention in human affairs. The integration of flood narratives into Chinese historical records reflects their importance in explaining natural phenomena and human origins. Archaeological investigations in the Mesopotamian region have uncovered significant evidence of ancient flood events that influenced early civilizations. Excavations at multiple sites in modern-day Iraq have revealed distinct flood deposits dating to various periods in ancient history. These findings include sediment layers at Ur, Kish, and Shuruppak, providing tangible evidence of significant flooding events in ancient Mesopotamia. The discovery of the Babylonian flood tablet in the ruins of Nineveh has provided crucial historical documentation of flood narratives. This tablet, part of the Epic of Gilgamesh, represents one of the earliest written accounts of a great flood. The careful preservation and detailed nature of this text demonstrate the cultural significance of flood narratives in ancient Mesopotamian society. Archaeological work in the Black Sea region has revealed evidence of significant geological events that may have influenced ancient flood accounts. Excavations have uncovered remains of ancient settlements along former coastlines, suggesting significant changes in water levels during human habitation of the region. These findings provide context for understanding how ancient peoples experienced and recorded major environmental events. Research into ancient Mesopotamian texts has enhanced our understanding of how flood narratives were transmitted and preserved. The discovery and translation of multiple versions of flood accounts, preserved in different languages and time periods, demonstrate the evolution of these narratives across cultures and generations. Careful analysis of these texts reveals patterns of cultural exchange and literary development in the ancient Near East. The examination of ancient building techniques has provided insights into historical boat construction methods. Archaeological evidence of ancient shipbuilding practices helps contextualize the technical descriptions found in various flood narratives. These findings demonstrate the sophisticated nature of ancient maritime technology. Historical analysis has demonstrated the profound impact of flood narratives on ancient civilizations. Understanding of their environment and history. Documents from ancient Mesopotamia reveal sophisticated systems for flood control and water management, indicating how these societies adapted to their river valley environments. These engineering achievements provide valuable insights into ancient technological capabilities. Researchers examining ancient flood accounts have identified common patterns in how different cultures recorded and transmitted information about natural disasters. The preservation of these accounts through multiple generations demonstrates sophisticated oral and written tradition methods. The careful documentation practices of ancient scribes have enabled modern scholars to trace the development of these narratives across time and cultures. The study of ancient flood narratives has enhanced our understanding of historical settlement patterns. Archaeological evidence shows how ancient communities chose settlement locations and developed architectural strategies in response to flooding risks. These findings demonstrate the practical wisdom embedded in ancient accounts of environmental challenges. The examination of ancient religious texts has revealed the complex relationship between natural events and religious interpretation in ancient societies. Careful analysis of these texts shows how ancient peoples integrated environmental observations with religious and cultural understanding. This integration produced sophisticated systems for explaining and responding to natural phenomena. Modern research into ancient flood accounts continues to provide insights into historical methods of disaster response and community resilience. The documented experiences of ancient societies offer valuable perspectives on human adaptation to environmental challenges. These historical insights remain relevant to contemporary discussions of community planning and disaster preparedness. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating exploration of ancient religious texts and archaeological discoveries. Your engagement and thoughtful feedback are invaluable to our ongoing research and content development. We encourage you to share your perspectives and insights in the comments section below. Your unique viewpoint adds depth to this important historical discussion. To stay informed about our latest historical investigations and archaeological findings, please subscribe to our channel. By supporting our team, you enable us to continue producing well-researched, comprehensive content on significant historical topics. If you found this analysis enlightening, we invite you to share it with friends, family, and colleagues who share an interest in ancient history and religious studies. Your support through likes and shares helps us reach a broader audience and fosters meaningful discussions about these crucial historical topics. Together, we can continue to explore and understand the rich tapestry of human history and religious thought.